Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gaza with CD. Guys, let's go back to Soshanguve. Looks like we are going to be staying there for a hot minute. And the reason being, this is a classic example when a government that was given the responsibility in protecting and serving the people of South Africa for the past 30 years, they've done absolutely nothing. These are the same people when you sit down and just ask yourself, what have you been doing all this time? And then I was telling somebody that I always imagine these guys coming to work, inverted commas, and they get into their offices and just sit besaka zombombo, just looking at the four walls. And if somebody says, hey, why aren't we working? And then somebody be like, "Tsek, bazosbona." I always imagine that. Because look at the evidence today. You cannot tell me that it is logical that citizens will live in fear of a visitor. Imagine a visitor comes to your home. Number one, they did not get invited to your house. They just came, invaded your house. They do as they please. They expect you to go buy groceries so that you can feed them, bathe them, clothe them, and do all these things through, of course, your salary. Well, I'm talking about our taxes. And on top of that, you live in fear of them. Make that make sense. There are people who left their home countries and traveled hundreds and hundreds, some of them thousands of kilometers, and got into this country illegally. And then when they get in here, instead of being grateful and say, oh my goodness, thank you, goodness, that I managed to make it here. Now, how can I contribute positively in the land that is giving me a second chance? No. You want to instill fear. And I am sure as tomorrow exists that when they go visit back home in Zimbabwe, they brag and say, we are in control. We run shit in South Africa. Those people bazwangati. Do you see? Does that sound good to you? Does that sound good to you? And here, the police minister. I'm not just picking on anybody or even, it doesn't matter. Here's the minister of police. A minister of police is reporting back to the community who are these perpetrators. Here we go.
Among the 6 victims was 19-year-old Katleho Motlotsi and 20-year-old Mpokoko. Their families say they are relieved that there's progress in the investigation, but they remain devastated by their tragic loss.
I am of the belief that as long as they have arrested someone, others will follow suit. We will get some satisfaction at least.
Most residents were too afraid to speak on camera. They allege the crimes were committed by foreign nationals, while former patrollers and other residents say they live in fear daily.
It is bad. We are scared of walking around. We now have to constantly be in the yard as early as possible.
During his visit to the area on Tuesday, Minister Senzo Mchunu reassured the families that police are working tirelessly to nab the other perpetrators.
One person has been arrested. Just around here, like we suspected. We wouldn't have suspected that someone would have come from Mpumalanga or from Northwest for this. We knew and suspected that it would be somebody from around here for some reason. So that is one that we are conveying to you as families. That person, we know he is a Zimbabwean. And this is a fact that we're conveying to you so that you begin to close the chapter.
Because when we say it, they say we are xenophobic. Why? Because we don't have the resources to prove that we are being terrorized in our own communities by people that have no business being here. We are now seen as an alternative of earning money by terrorizing us, instead of coming here and say, okay, guys, I am so sorry, back home, this is the situation, that is the situation, and we are in this situation, and I thought, hey, there's a country in Ubuntu, let me go there, maybe they're going to embrace me, and I will work along with them. I will also, when I get into their communities, I will participate in the safety of the community that I'm going to land in. No, I am going to cause them pain and suffering. I'm going to take away their loved ones. Guys, do you see what putting this inept government in the past 30 years has done to us? I don't know, guys. I think my face is starting to get blue, because I know with some people it's like banging your head against the wall until something bad happens and they find out, Uguti, it's not people who are supposed to be here in the first place. They had the audacity to come into our communities. When we catered, probably we were smiling and we welcomed them and we told them this is home, because that's what we do. We tell you, feel at home, get comfortable. But they got too comfortable. And we tell our government, guys, we know what we are capable of. We know what we did to Impi in the 1980s. Please do not let us do this to these guys. And we've been begging and begging and begging, because the international media is waiting for that typical South African moment where, when we are fed up, we go to a scrapyard, get some tires, and I'm not encouraging this, don't do it, but you know what I mean. The international media is waiting for that moment because they know us when we are fed up what we are capable of. They know. And they keep wondering, when is it going to happen? It's not going to happen because we don't have that appetite. And secondly, sinobuntu. And thirdly, we got patience. And fourthly, all of these three things that I've mentioned seemingly paralyzing us from taking action against our government. The ones that brought us these people that we don't know what they are doing here. What are they doing here? Why can't they go? If it's a president or a leader that is giving them issues, why aren't they fighting him or her? Why aren't they fighting him or her? Why is it easy for them to drop everything, including their own citizenship, and run to be a nuisance in somebody else's country? Some of them, when they manage to get to England and the USA and Canada's, they literally claim South African citizenship when they are not. I mean, we see these things on YouTube where now British people have podcasts and they say, hey, the heaviest accent I've ever heard is a South African accent. And then when they say it out, we're like, no, sorry. You came across a Zimbabwean that pretended to be a South African, because that's what I hear is going on out there. Why? Instead of being proudly Zimbabwean by going and facing Mnangagwa, he's just a person, a mortal human being. And you cannot tell me that in your millions, you guys are afraid of few hundred thousands of personnel in the form of police and army. Yes, kuyoba khona abayoshona, but hayi nonke. Go face that barrel. We did it here. Kodwa namagwala, shame. And then you come and you take advantage of a kind nation. Shame on you.